Hey, what's up? How's it going? What's up, man? Sprite. Sprite. So, nothing special. I wish. I have some that I made. I have some beer that I made that's still in my closet. It's not cold, and there is no way in hell. There is no way in hell I'm drinking warm beer in Texas weather. There's no way. Not a chance. So, all I've got is cold Sprite, so that'll do. Hmm. So, for those of you, 107? Where do you live? 107. I'm in Houston, Texas. It is 104-ish. California. Damn. That's crazy. That's crazy. I think over the weekend it topped out at 104, but the heat index here is just crazy. That I mean, you're on the coast, so you've got the humidity as well. But being in the Gulf, I feel like my aunt lives in LA, so I get that. But I feel like between LA and Houston, the humidity is just so much worse here. Anyways, feels like you're taking a bath. Jesus, 115, crazy. Anyways, so I don't really want to spend a whole lot of time waiting for people to get in here. I do appreciate though for you guys that are here. I don't know how short this is gonna be or how long. I got to do a couple things. So I don't know how many of you guys have followed this, but my Coral Beauty is not doing so hot. It's in the tank to the right. He's at the corner right there, and I'll get a shot of it in a second. But basically, it's gone through a full 30 days of copper after my tank got ick, and since then I've got about a month left on the fallow period, so like 76 days. And in that time, everyone's been great in that tank. Everyone's been great up until recently, where I'm assuming the flame angel has basically been kind of bullying it. So I'm not. Basically, there was a bunch of ripped fins. You could tell the Coral Beauty started getting lethargic, but the ripped fins since have started healing. Right, the fins look great, but for the last 4 days it hasn't eaten at all. I've tried like maybe 3 or 4 different types of food. Normally I feed mice like Hikari mysis. I've tried pellets. I've tried a herbivore diet. It's a frozen, I think it's a frozen Hikari herbivore thing. Not LRS or anything like that, but got that. And I have tried some bloodworms just because, why not? I've got some bloodworms left over. It hasn't eaten anything, so I have a feeling that it may have an infection. In the time that it got an infection, I mean, I'm guessing here, but there's no sign of an infection at all. None of my fish are exhibiting any other problems. So here, let me go take a look. So there's the Coral Beauty, right there. I mean, it's lethargic. When I got back, I couldn't even find it. I had assumed the worst. You can see the remnants of the torn fins. Before it looked perfectly fine, and this is the culprit right there. Flame Angel. He's tiny, by the way, compared to. Oh God, come on, buddy. Honestly, I'm assuming this Coral Beauty's a goner. I've tried pretty much everything that I can think of, including Maricin 2 as a broad spectrum antibacterial solution, but not much that you can do. Originally, I thought it was Tanya because it's usually aggressive, even though it's never displayed aggression towards any of my other fish, only me. It's aggressive towards me, nobody else. I mean, the Midas Blenny doing great. The 2 clowns doing great. I mean, this jerk is doing okay. But hey, well, there's a lot of other people in this chat. What's up, Lisa? What's up, Rob? What's up, V-Stag? What's going on, guys? So, anyways, looks like Mochi came here to join me. Mochi! Hi! Buddy, don't run. I want to pet you. Okay, thank you. All right. So yeah, basically there's not much that I can do with this, and you know, I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. I mean, if it pulls through, awesome. If it doesn't, it's going to be the first fish I have lost while in the saltwater hobby. And you have to keep in mind, I've been doing this for a year. So this would be the first fish I've ever lost in an entire year that I've had in my main display tank. So to me, this is a big deal. Well, I mean, it really pisses me off though. You gotta think about it, right? So gotta go fallow for 76 days in my main tank. It has already been fallow for how many days? 50 days? No, 55 to 60 days, okay? Actually, no. 45 to 50 days. And that really pisses me off because it's like, okay, you're gonna pull through, you're gonna get the copper treatment, and you're gonna get cured of ick, but then it's something else, right? And now, I mean, aggression, territory, all that kind of stuff, that's pretty much where it gets it, right? What's up, business? So that's been kind of my problem, right? So this tank on the right is a 30-gallon tall. I got it from a coworker for free, and he got it during like a Petco or PetSmart $1 per gallon sale. And then the tank on the left, honestly, using it as a QT is really disappointing. That is a low iron 20-gallon NSU tank from like Boost Plants. So yeah, shouldn't be using that as a quarantine, but don't have a choice. Will I start a Monty with a Y Carlo freshwater tank? No, I don't think I'm going to be doing Monte Carlo. Well, okay, I take that back. For my current freshwater tank that I'm building, if you guys haven't seen the most recent video, I'm building a 20-gallon Iwagumi tank. And I've got the hardscape finished. If you guys were in if you were in my Discord channel, you would have seen some of the pictures I posted of it. The hardscape is done, but the plants are arriving tomorrow or the day after. I mean, either it's going to be there or it's going to be on a video coming on my channel in the next couple days. So, anyways, it's this exact tank, actually. I have two of these, right? The ones that my zebra swallowtail angels are in. That's actually the tank that I'm going to be using for my, well, the second one for the freshwater. So, anyways, basically, there's a couple things I wanted to do today, and the first one was talk about my coral beauty, which we kind of already talked about. I can talk about it again later, just for other people, but for these guys, for the sake of these angels here, which I just picked up about 7 days ago, about a week, no, actually probably almost 2 weeks ago, I dosed a round of Pro, which is about a 7-day dosage period, and then I'm gonna do a 25%-ish water change. And then I'm going to dose Pro again. Now, here's the thing. I did notice a few specks of ick. I believe it's ick on these angels, these two on the left. So my guess is that hopefully I can get through a full round of Pro before it looks like it's spreading. Because if it's really spreading, I'm going to cut that Pro dosage early and then just go immediately to copper. What the fuck is with my luck, man? What's up, Prolific? How's it going, man? I don't know. Anyways, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and do the water change real quick, and then dose Pro. So I guess I'll just get started. So I'm not gonna be able to see you guys' comments. I'm sure Prolific Breed can help you with that. Gotta move this out of the way a little bit. So we're doing 20 gallons, 5-gallon bucket. Okay, we're good. Actually, I'm a dum-dum. Johnson, I'm not planning on doing hypo. I'm not the biggest fan of that method. I know it works. I'm not judging anyone who does. I prefer using copper. It's just my method, and it's worked well. So that's my personal opinion. I just realized that the water that I had ready, it's actually not heated. I just got back from work. So, you know, I'm probably not actually going to do a water change right now. Otherwise, I'd have to put cold water. I mean, if it was my 250-gallon, I would be totally okay with that. Because, I mean, it's a 250-gallon tank. You do a 5-gallon water change. I mean, you're affecting less than 1% of the entire system, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I've got the Hannah checker for copper, both the low range and high range, just in case, I guess. But Yeah, anyways, that's kind of where my tanks are at right now for the quarantine situation. My girlfriend really wants to get a yellow clown goby, and I'm just like, babe, the fish is like an inch long, maybe. It's like half an inch long. It's gonna get lost in my tank, or it's gonna be eaten by my Midas blenny or something like that. I don't think that's actually gonna happen, but I need my drink. But I am disappointed that my coral beauty is probably not going to make it. I'm gonna pay attention to it for the rest of the day and check on it tonight and maybe tomorrow morning. But you know, prolific coupons today at Live Aquaria 20% off. That's not bad. I just picked up some salt, so otherwise I probably would have grabbed some. Is it off of the website, the whole website, or from somewhere else? Angels and tangs are sensitive to copper. Johnson, you are 100% correct. They are. That's why I keep two types of copper, both a chelated and ionic copper. So angels are split up into probably a dozen different subspecies. This particular type are called Ginacanthus. Of the Ginacanthus species, they actually react much better to chelated copper over ionic. So ionic copper would be something like Seachem's, shit. Hold on. I mean, I've got it right here. Cupramine. Okay, yeah, so if you're dosing something that requires or does better with an ionic copper, this is the one that you want to go with. It's a Cupramine, Seachem's product. So this one is actually probably your best bet. For these angels, they're going to be dosed with Mardell's Copper Safe. This is a chelated copper. And chelated copper is probably going to be the best choice for these guys. I mean, technically the safest for the most part is the tank transfer method, but I have a demanding job that would make that very difficult, to be honest. I mean, I'm barely able to make videos as is, like once or twice a week. So that would be a struggle, I think. Oh, man. Yeah, I do. So my normal copper method is basically I take the total dosage for the tank. In this case, it's a 20 gallon, but minus, you know, the displacement and all that crap. 20 gallons, and then whatever the dosage is, whether it's like, maybe it's like, you know, 10, 15, 20 milliliters. You take the milliliters, divide it out between 5 days. So I take 5 days to bring it up to total therapeutic level. And I mean, as you saw, I mean, my Coral Beauty, my Flame Angel, both are dwarf angels, and they both got, they both went through a full round of copper. 2 rounds of copper, actually. The first round was when I first put them in the tank, but because I was afraid of killing them, I did not bring them up to full therapeutic level, which is where the ick was introduced. So that's the story behind that. So they went through that round, and then, you know, some months later, when ick finally developed in a large system like mine, it you know, it caught on. So that's basically that situation. And then I brought them up, did a full 30-day you know, period, all the way up to 1.75 parts per million, or is it ppm? Yeah, parts per million. So. But these guys are doing great on the left, the swallowtails. Every day when I come back, if I go to the side of the tank, they'll actually come up to me. They know I'm now the food giver. I accept that duty. So what, Lisa and Calc, what size tanks do you guys have? Like, what do you guys got inside there? I always like to ask people that. And it's too damn hot. Jesus. Anyways, while I wait, I'm gonna quickly feed my fish since I just got back, haven't had a chance to. I doubt my Coral Beauty is actually gonna eat it. I got some frozen mysis. These guys are pigs. They absolutely will eat everything. Come on, dudes, enjoy. I always take water from my this tank. This has no No prosy, no copper, no nothing. It did, but then I did a 100% water change and ran carbon inside of it. Yeah, look at these guys. They eat like crazy. I mean, they'll do it over here too, but you know, not as much. And then actually, so there's I have a fry cage in this tank right here for the flame angel, and I squirt just a little bit in there so he can eat. Yeah, man, the coral beauty is not doing well. I mean, take a look. I mean, he's not eating at all. I mean, it's floated right in front of his face. I'm not happy about this, guys. So he initially had ripped fins from this jerk off. They've been in there for 50 days, no problem. Only within like a few day period did he snapped and went psycho. And I'm guessing it didn't. It probably happened because of the how small this tank is. I mean, it's a 30-gallon, right? It's a 30-gallon tall. There's so much PVC in this tank that it looks like a construction zone. I mean, I didn't have a choice, right? I got to get them all out of the tank, and then I had to give enough time to boot this tank up. But by then, I mean, these guys had all settled supposedly. Yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, I haven't lost a fish in my display tank ever. This is the first one. So, well, I mean, in saltwater. I mean, I've done freshwater in the past, and yeah, I mean, I've lost fish, but not quite like this. I mean, I've lost an angel before, or excuse me, snails before, but I mean, people should normally don't mourn for snails, but for fish, definitely, especially ones that I've had for such a long time. Well, thanks, Tim. I appreciate it. Actually, I mean, kind of beat that to death. I can show you guys what's going on over here. It's a mess in here just because, here, hold on. Let me put this down real quick so I can turn on some lights. Oh, come on. All right, there we go. This is the new tank that I have some amazing pieces in here. It took me a while to find the rocks that I wanted and some of the like scape designs. Here, let me extend my little tripod here so I can actually stand up and show more about this. It'll be a little bit more stable. All right, there we go. Okay, so yeah, this tank has gone through a couple different steps. I mean, I've had to clean it out from, you know, the old state. The entire backdrop, black. And I feel like every time I see an Iwagumi aquascape, it has a white background. And I think it looks so much better with white or opaque or frosted or even light blue. And I think the reason behind that is because it gives, like when you have a black background, I think for the majority of natural style aquascapes, it works because it terminates your aquascape. You focus on what's inside of it. But with, I think in Iwagumi, I mean, I feel like I'm going to be a total hipster when saying stuff like this, but I feel like in an aquascape like this, you're focused on everything else around it in the distance. It's all about perspective. And when you create a light background, you're seeing into the distance. And I think it gives you that further depth perception that is kind of required for something like this. But anyways, so let me show you a couple things. Okay, so I have like basically 3 layers. You have the front, the middle, and then part of the back. And I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with a couple things, and maybe you guys can give me some advice or opinions. So the top of this rock, this crevice right here, is really deep. And so when I was pouring aqua soil, I was like, huh, maybe I can leave it there. Maybe I can plant something up in here. I don't know what I would plant though. Maybe some of my dwarf baby tears. Maybe put some up in there too. I don't know. And then the back corner here. I'm not going to see anything, so I don't really know what I would put. I mean, if I put a stem plant like a like Ludwigia rotala, excuse me, like a rotundifolia, Rotala rotundifolia, English. If I put it back here or something like that, I think that would take away from the scape. some really big stem plants. That's why I'm not entirely sure if I want to do it. Let's see, Lisa, you suggested Madagascar lace. I don't actually know what that looks like, but I will definitely Google it after I'm done with Escape. Yeah, so overall, I think it looks great, but I think I'm going to run into a couple challenges. The first one being these little rocks at the front. I think because I'm basically, so I saw your question about stocking, but before I get into that, just continuing on talking about the plants, this whole section, like here, along here on the front, is going to be dwarf baby. I want a really good carpet. And so for that, I'm going to be doing a dry start method, right? But then, so you have the carpet there, and then in between, in places like here and along here, through there and through there, basically between the rock, I'm going to be putting S repens. And I think it's just going to create this really nice dynamic between the small carpet next to the larger kind of bushier S repens next to it. And then in a few different places, like maybe here or somewhere, basically as an accent plant, I wanted to put the Helferi, P. Helferi. I don't know, like Posta Megon. God damn it, I'm so bad at pronouncing some of these names. Yeah, the bushy little plant that is usually called downy or Helferi or whatever you want to call it. Oh, dude, Amriel, what's going on? How's it going? Yeah, so I think that would look good. And then I definitely plan on adding a lot of moss to the rock structure. Live stream is over. So basically for the moss, what I plan on doing is the what they call the milkshake method, even though it's kind of like a broken version of that. It's basically where you take moss, you cut it up, you chop, you get out your nice knives, your cutting board, and then you add water to it. And then people even add things like yogurt or buttermilk. And then they basically take a brush and they brush it on the rock. So the goal of that is to, it definitely brings all the books to the art. Basically what that does is it creates a nutrient-rich liquid or something to grow the moss against the rocks. And then if it only works in the dry start method, right? Because if you try to do this with your water, I mean, with the tank already flooded, obviously it's not going to work. So dry start, it probably takes about 3 weeks for the moss to really get attached and start growing. And yeah, so that's how that method works. Now, there are a lot of problems with the milkshake method, okay? Which primarily starts with mold, all right? You have like the sugary, perfect breeding ground for mold bacteria. So for me, I'm not planning on doing the milkshake method all the way. I'm planning on just using water and just spraying it down every day to make sure that it gets the nutrients or the trace elements that it needs just from the water. There's another method, and one that I'm kind of considering, and they call it the something mud method. It's basically where you take aqua soil like this that has a bunch of nutrients already inside of it. You add water to it, you grind it up, and then you mix that in with the moss. So basically, substitute the buttermilk or the yogurt, and you get the mixture that you're looking for. Amriel, I'm glad you're able to stop by. I mean, I know you're in the UK, and like, what is it? Right now, it's 5 o'clock Central Time, which is GMT -6. So for you, it's like what? 8? 8? 8? No. 10? I don't know. What time is it in the UK right now? I have no idea. Am I going to be using fertilizer in the soil? So yes and no. Yes, I'm going to be using ferts. No, I'm not going to be using in the soil. I guess the question is a little bit strange. I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, this is activated. This is activated substrate, so it already has a lot of nutrients inside of it. But I will be using a dry fertilizer, mixing it myself with like reverse osmosis water, and then dosing that every day. I'm planning on using the EI method, the estimated index. So I'll be dosing macro and micronutrients separately. All right, I'll see you later, Amriel. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. But yeah, so I'll be dosing fertilizer. I'll be hitting this with CO2. Actually, yeah, CO2, obviously, Lisa. I went to my local brew store and filled up my 5-pound tank last weekend, just in preparation. I've done CO2. I've done a high-tech tank before. This is nothing really new to me. I did it on my 55-gallon in the past. I mean, if you go look at my channel, like at the very beginning, you'll probably see it. But between the time where I first started my channel and today, I moved very shortly after. And when I did that, I sold my 55 gallon to a person that lives really close by. They wanted to give a gift to their son for his birthday, and so they basically bought most of my setup. So since then, I've really only had the 220 gallons as the freshwater, and then for the last year, it's almost been purely saltwater. So, and yeah, I'm excited to see how this goes too. I really am. The whole dry start method itself, I'm pretty excited about since I've never done it. Which basically you just plant the tank, you spray it down every day or so. You release the CO2 from the top with the saran wrap, and you just kind of like open it up for a little bit during the day. You can increase your photo period to like 12, 18. Some people even go up to 18 hours, which I think is absolutely insane. I mean, there's no risk of algae, right? So why not? But I'll be doing the dry start method for probably, I don't know, 4 weeks minimum. 4 weeks. It depends on how fast the carpet grows out. If once the carpet grows out and once I'm comfortable with the moss being attached to the rock, I mean, I'll flood the tank. Shouldn't be that big of a problem. Yeah, this was, I spent all day working on it. Well, not all day. I spent a couple hours working on this yesterday. And to answer your question, Tim, this is ADA Amazonia, the powder type. And actually, I have here, hold on. I still have the bag right here. If I can, geez, I'm sorry. My tripod is really long, so you're gonna see it at an angle right now. It's the Aquasoil that a lot of ADA tanks use. I've had great success with it in the past. It is expensive though, definitely expensive. Yes, prolific. The goal with this tank, so I never actually answered the question about stocking. I don't even remember who asked it, but stocking for fish and everything else wise, alligator. Alligator would love this tank. That'd be awesome. I love no. So I'm planning on putting, at least at the start, a handful of autosynclus catfish, as well as some dwarf Taiwan bee shrimp. I have a lot of experience with Caridina and Neocaridina shrimp, so I'm kind of excited to get back into that. Thanks, Shyster, for coming. I appreciate it. Electric blue? When you say electric blue, are you talking shrimp? Or are you talking about like a cichlid, like the electric blue ram? Because I hope you're not talking about the cichlid. I'm not putting that in this tank. Shrimp. I don't actually know what an electric blue looks like. If you're referring to blue bolts or with a dream blue velvet, maybe that. I mean, there's so many different names. There's what I would qualify as like the industry standard for the shrimp names, as well as the what different websites that propagate their own shrimp, and then they just give it a different name, right? Like, oh, these aren't the dream blue velvets. These are the celestial dragon blue zodiac shrimp, right? Like, that's a good name, actually. I should breed shrimp and call them the. I should call them that. That's a good name. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm actually you're not too far off. So what I'd like to do shrimp wise with this tank is basically take two types of shrimp. I want to take the black King Kong pandas, and I want to take the blue bolts, and I want to have them both in this tank. Okay. What I'm actually looking for is for them to breed shadow pandas. If you haven't seen what they look like, go Google it real quick. Just Google what shadow pandas look like. And it's basically this black shrimp with blue, like these dark blue cross stripes that go through it. And it looks amazing. They look really, really good. Now, the thing about those shrimp, though, when you breed them, is they don't breed true. It's not like you can take a black panda and a blue bolt, and they will always breed shadow pandas. You can sometimes get crystal reds, crystal blacks. You can get the red wine shrimps. You can get all sorts of. Basically, they can breed out any type of Taiwan bee. Like that's just how that kind of breeding works. So what's going to happen is I want to basically cull from my colonies the shrimp that don't meet the shadow panda like expectation, because every time you get the shadow panda, the idea is that there still is a higher chance. Like if you take a shadow panda and a red wine and you mate them, there's no guarantee that you're going to get another shadow panda. But a shadow panda and a shadow panda, it's still a higher chance than otherwise. So if you constantly do this over generation after generation, you can increase your odds at getting a shadow panda. If any of you guys browse was it shrimpspot.com, there's a couple guys in there that have like maybe 8 to 15 deep generations of shadow pandas, where they like 70 to 90% of the time they get a shadow panda. And that's after a long time of careful culling, of breeding. It's a long process. But so shrimp, autosynchronous catfish at the beginning, once the plants grow out more, to create a lot of hiding spaces, and once the colonies are a little bit bigger, I want to introduce a small schooling nanofish. I'm thinking something along the lines of like a rasbora, maybe a tetra. I don't really know yet. It all depends on how things come together. I know classical, won't the catfish mess up the carpet? It's an autosynchronous. They're more interested on the algae, so if there's algae on the carpet, possibly. But here's the thing though, the reason I'm doing a dry start method, which is giving the carpet a chance to grow and expand across the entire substrate. So, I would be concerned if I put the autos in at the same time as I was growing my carpet, but since I'm doing the dry start method, I really shouldn't have to worry about that. But yeah, so in terms of adding any other fish, probably, maybe a tetra. The thing is, like, the classical Iwagumi aquascape does include a small fish, like tetras, like neon, cardinals, whatever. But the thing is, and I've talked to some people about it, is that it can be really stressful on the fish. Neon and cardinal tetras tend to prefer darker lights. They prefer lots of vegetation for hiding places. But this is going to be a highlight, open area with not as many hiding spaces. So some people would argue that the classical Iwagumi is not very, I'm not going to say ethical, but it's not the optimal environment for a tetra or some other nano schooling fish. So that's one of the concerns, but it really depends. I'm not going to do a blanket statement. I think my scape has a lot of huge spots where fish can hide. So I'm not as concerned about adding them in this one. But if just Google Iwagumi aquascape, and you see the ones where it's like a 20-gallon long, right, where it's like 36 to 48 inch long tank with like 3 rocks and nothing but dwarf baby tears. Yeah, okay, I could get that because there's no hiding space. It's a completely open area. That can be a problem. Yeah, anyways. So that's the new tank. I hope you guys are excited because I sure am. I'm really excited about that. Oh, God. I have all my rocks on the ground and I just almost tripped and ate it. So for those of you that have joined recently, we were talking about the coral beauty who's not doing so good. It's probably on its way out, I'll be honest. I've seen fish in a lot of situations, not many come back from this. But let's go downstairs for a second. We can look at the actual 250. Ooh, you can see the 90. It's not done yet, actually. So this is the 90-gallon. It's going to be, it's a 90-gallon cube. I love my plumbing work on the back, guys. God damn, looks so good. Toot my own horn. Yeah, this is the 90-gallon. It's going to be a clown harem anemone tank. That's what I'm aiming for. Can't really see it in here, but there's my plumbing down below. It's doing great. Basically, I'm done with the dry plumb. I just need to hard plumb it. But the thing is that just so I could work on the tank, I left a lot of space between the back and the front. So I need to basically take this tank off and then move everything against the wall, and then I can do the hard plumbing. That's basically what I gotta wait for. And yeah, that's an SCA tank. Let me get some lights in here, hold on. Okay, so this is an SCA tank. Hold on. Let me get around here. So I decided to go with the external overflow box. This is the eShops, damn, what's it called? Eclipse. It's the Eclipse Large. So that's the overflow box. It's absolutely great. I haven't plumbed this little bit, but yeah, we'll get to that later. So I mean, that's the last thing you need to do. What's up, Jack? Hey, the stream's been going for probably about 40 minutes now. We talked about it, but yeah, the Coral Beauty isn't doing very well. Not too happy about that. But anyways, we're looking at the 90 right now. I got the two check valves on both of the returns. They're two different returns. And then on this side, I have a gate valve, which will let me adjust the amount of pressure that's going to this line versus the other line. And I can easily reach it from behind the tank. I mean, it's right there at the front. So I'm super excited about that. Light system is right there. I'll hang that up on the ceiling later. Sorry about that. And of course, here's a 250. Looking pretty spectacular. I'm happy about it right now. Right now the lighting isn't set up for videoing because I didn't think I would come down here today, but yeah, it's looking really good right now. The newest additions, of course, my bounce mushrooms, looking awesome. On the right side, you got the OG. These are all worldwide coral. So on the right side, you got the OG bounce. Then you got a biohazard, and then a sun-kissed, and a Mr. Blue. Mr. Blue, I think that's what it's called. So actually, and I haven't really talked about it that much unless you've been in Discord. I am buying from a local reefer. What's up, TMG? So I'm buying from a local reefer a couple frags. I'm gonna go pick it up this Saturday. It's a Walt Disney, a TCK Pikachu, and a Reef Raft. What's it called? Vin, V-I-N-H. And they're all amazing looking frags. Honestly, that Walt Disney, like if you haven't seen it before, just pull up Google. Like Google Walt Disney Acropora, or Google TCK Pikachu. These things look awesome. So I got a really good deal from a local guy who's giving me a like maybe 2.5 inch frag of the Walt Disney. And the Pikachu is about like, I think maybe almost 1 inch, and the Vin is about the same too. TMG, yeah, so I think total for all three, let's see here, I think it's $150 for the 2.5 inch Walt Disney, which by itself is an amazing price. You got to think about it. Like, go check out Battle Corals, go check out Worldwide Corals, go check out Top Shelf Aquatics, go to any of those guys. Any frag that they're going to sell is 0.5 to 1 inch, about what, 0.5 to 0.75 inches, and they charge $200 to $250 just for that. Just for that. I'm getting 2.5 inches for like $150. Okay, so that is a pretty damn good deal if you ask me. So ignoring that, the TCK Pikachu, which is in a 1 inch frag, and the Reef Raft Vin, he's selling me for $100. So in total, I'm getting these 3 frags for $250, which, I mean, it's a great deal. It's definitely a good deal. I mean, it's not a small amount of money at all, but yeah. Thanks, TMG. I appreciate it. Honestly, I wish, actually, can I do that here? Hold on. Let me see. Can you, is that better? Yeah, actually, got some of those blues removed. I have my little filter here. It's a little bit easier to see the oranges and golds of this Euphilia. Man, I love that hammer. So thick, man. Where am I located? I am in Houston, Texas. Land of the free, somewhat, and home of the lots of reef tanks. I don't. Yeah, the Hollywood Stunner. Hollywood Stunner looks awesome. Can't get that hammer anymore. What do you mean you can't get that hammer? Are you talking about the bands, like Indonesia? Honestly, I don't know what ocean this hammer came from. I got it from Aqua SD a long time ago. So starting at the right, you've got my pinkish orange octospawn, and that came from a local reef event called Marsh Reef here in Texas. In the middle, that's from Aqua SD. It's my gold Holy Grail hammer. Then you got like this pinkish purple tip with green stalk octospawn, as well as, that's my very first core right there, the splatter hammer. That's my first. Indonesian wall hammers. Yeah, I mean, it's a wall hammer, so it's not like I'm propagating it anytime soon. At least, you know, I'm not really as familiar with it. Yeah, it's a wall hammer for sure. If you can find me a hammer, like a Holy Grail gold hammer that's branching, let me know. Because honestly, I don't think I've ever seen one at all. Maybe that color just isn't common. I mean, it's probably out there. I haven't seen it. Yeah, I mean, the corals are all doing really well right now. The bounce mushrooms are doing great. The chalices, you got the Hollywood Stunner, the watermelon, and I think that's I don't remember what that front one was, but all my sticks are doing well. These are my newest. I think these are the newest sticks. You've got like a Wolverine, Pink Floyd, Blue Tort, a bunch of bubblegum awesomes. Hey Jack, we've actually looked at the quarantines for maybe like 20 minutes. I can go back upstairs, but we can look at it in a little bit. My stunner, I'm not sure. It doesn't really look like it's encrusting. Like that right there at the right side. Here, I didn't really clean this side of the glass, so it might be a little bit bad. It looks like it's encrusting just a little bit. So yeah, yeah, the acros up here are doing really well. There's a decent amount of polyp extension. They're doing great. This is like my stylo area. I got like Jason Fox bug outs. I've got like their rainbow stylos, a bunch of different stuff. Yeah, honestly, I like the Hollywood Stunner, but I got it before I knew that it was a lot of reefers consider it a plague. So I don't really know. Let's see here. So starting at the back right, it's that one was from Reef Raft. I think it was called Helios or Heli something. I don't really remember. Right there in the front is Jason Fox's Fox Flame. I absolutely love that piece. And my phone camera doesn't do it justice, as opposed to my DSLR. But yeah, it looks really good. Can I look any better? No. Okay. And then you got the tiny little acro right there, which actually is encrusted really well. The Hulk. It's like a green Hulk. Then I've got up there. God, man, the colors in here are really bad. I really need to change the lighting in here before I record like this. Yeah, I don't think the ocean wants Hollywood Stunners back. That's a good point. That's a really good point. The one thing I'm really excited about is my speckled Krakatoas right there. It has that one baby on the left, which has grown quite a bit since I got it. And I only started with one polyp, keep in mind. And then you can't really see it, but at the top right, there's another baby, but it's much smaller. A PC rainbow. What is a PC rainbow? Is it a chalice? It sounds really familiar, but, you know, not entirely sure. I got some more sticks over here. And then, of course, I got my plating Monty. But yeah, so everything's looking really good in the tank right now. I actually tested alkalinity earlier today. It was sitting at a pretty solid 8. Good nano reef fish ideas. There's a lot. It depends on the size of your nano. PC Rainbow is a stick. Okay, I'll take a look at it after I get off. But anyways, back to the nano fish. I mean, you can get... honestly, I don't know how large this actually requires. It's just like a 1/2-inch fish, but a clown goby, a gold clown goby. You can look at firefish. You can look at clownfish even. I mean, there's a handful of different options. But yeah, I mean, there's a bunch. I would recommend go look at Live Aquaria. They have a nanofish section, and it'll show what tank size that they're good for. So I would check that out if I were you. But for those of you that have saltwater tanks right now, do you ever have the problem where a lot of your snails will have ridiculous hair jobs, like algae everywhere? Let me see, I can't really find an example. I think they've all eaten the algae off of themselves. There's a small example, not really quite the same, but it looks like they've eaten all the algae off of each other. Damn. Okay, well that's good. I'm fine with that. Brush yours. Honestly, I have no algae in this tank. Like I have some dino on the sand bed, but Like I literally have no algae in this tank, and I think a big part of it has to do with my refugium being such a beast. Let me show you real quick. Get some light on in here. Okay. What tank is again? This tank right here is a 210 SCA aquarium. The sump is another 50 to 60 gallons. Take out displacement, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's what you got. Anyways, look at all that Chaeto. So much Chaeto. I have to take some out because it's kind of moving away from where the grow light primarily stays. Eventually, once the 90-gallon gets set up, since I'm doing a refugium with that, I'm just going to toss a bowl of my Chaeto inside of there and call it a day. And actually, that's the Marine Pure block. It's only in there because it's cycling for the 90-gallon, and that's it. There's no other reason why it's in there. But yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty good overall. I'm pretty happy with everything. But anyways, Jack, I will, just for the sake of what you wanted to see, let's go take a look at the quarantine tanks one more time. I think I may wrap it up here. It's almost been an hour or so, maybe 50 minutes. Okay, so here, oh well. I mean, you've all heard from the video, you know what's going on. I'm gonna try, I've done pretty much everything that I can. No, I don't run hypo, I run copper, but TMG, before you got here, basically the general idea is that I had ick in my display. That's why there's no fish in there. I took all the fish out, and they've been in my quarantine systems for like 50 days. It's been well over 30 days. And they've gone through a whole round of copper. They did perfectly fine. I did it slowly. Hey, thank you guys for coming. I'll see you later. So I had them in the tank in quarantine with copper. I brought them up to therapeutic levels after 5 days. And, they did fine. They went through a whole round. But the Flame Angel decided to go ballistic, nip the fins of my Coral Beauty, and that's pretty much it. I mean, I think it got an infection, and no matter what broad spectrum antibiotic, or not antibiotic, antibacterial that I used, it didn't help. And it stopped eating for 4 days, even though I tried like 4 different foods. So a little bit disappointed, actually really disappointed, but I mean, it is what it is. So, anyways, that's it. I don't want to really end on that note, but just for you, Jack, I wanted to show that to you. I'm going to go ahead and call it here. Guys, if you are interested in stuff like this, minus the dying fish bit, go ahead and hit subscribe to my channel. I mean, I love talking to people, so I would actually prefer if you come into Discord. Preferably, I prefer Discord. If you go to any of my videos, like the new videos, and you look in the description, you'll actually see a link to the Discord channel. We got like probably 200 plus people in there, mostly like a good healthy mix between saltwater and freshwater. So if you guys like either, I mean, just come on by. I mean, it's a lot of fun talking with you guys. So anyways, thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you fine ladies and gents later.